Okay, so get this, right? We're diving into the case of Zoe Hartley.
Mm-hmm.
And this story, it's one of those that makes you question everything you thought you knew about, you know? Those families that seem like picture perfect.
Oh, absolutely. It's unsettling how often these cases, they arise from this foundation of fabricated perfection.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of community where it's like everyone knows everyone, but those alarm bells, they're kind of muffled by this assumption of good intentions.
It's like everyone's got like a blind spot, right? Because they want to believe the best. And we are wading through a ton of stuff for this deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
Police reports, social media posts. We even found some snippets from medical journals. It's like piecing together a puzzle, but someone took like a family drama and mashed it up with a medical mystery.
And that's where the real intrigue lies. You know, you've got Ryan, he's a respected pediatrician, right?
Right.
His wife, Scarlett, she's beloved as a school counselor. And their daughter, Zoe. On the surface, the epitome of success, family values.
Right. Almost aggressively normal.
Right.
Like you look at them and think, what's their secret? What's in the water?
Exactly.
But then, around age 4, Zoe's health, it takes a nosedive. Like someone flipped a switch.
Wow.
From picture perfect to like a baffling medical case study.
And this is where, you know, that parental instinct should be screaming for answers, right?
Right.
And to everyone, it seemed like that's exactly what Ryan and Scarlett were doing. Specialists, countless tests, the works.
Yeah, Scarlett was practically a spokesperson for concerned parents on social media.
Oh, wow.
Chronicling Zoe's journey, like these heartbreaking details, thanking everyone for their support. They even had a GoFundMe, which I got to say I found a little odd given their professions.
That's the thing about these meticulously constructed facades, right?
Okay.
They often have these seemingly insignificant cracks, like the GoFundMe. I mean, it could be explained away by, you know, exorbitant medical bills, but it sows that first seed of doubt.
Right. You sort of think, wait a minute, something's not adding up here.
Exactly.
And it worked. The community, they rallied around them.
Wow.
Blinded by this narrative of a family battling this mysterious illness. But all the while, Zoe's condition, it just keeps getting worse. It's like the doctors are trying to solve a puzzle, but they're missing like half the pieces.
The reports actually mention a conference, a gathering of specialists who were just baffled by the inconsistent, almost contradictory nature of her symptoms.
Contradictory how? Give me the technical breakdown.
Okay, so imagine like a puzzle, right? But the pieces are constantly changing shape.
All right.
Zoe would present with symptoms of one thing, but the test would come back negative.
Oh.
Then, bam, new cluster of symptoms, equally perplexing, totally unrelated to the previous one.
So it's less about the specific medical details and more about the overall pattern of her illness, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where Ryan's role as a pediatrician, it becomes particularly unsettling.
Yeah.
Because he's privy to all these medical complexities, right?
Right.
Yet his own daughter's illness is this unsolvable mystery.
Okay, now that's just creepy.
Right.
It's like that saying, what is it? The closer you are, the less you see.
Precisely.
And while the community is busy admiring the Hartley strength, you know, those closest to the family,
Yeah.
they start to notice these discrepancies.
Right.
These little things that challenge that carefully constructed facade.
It's like pulling at a thread.
Right. Exactly.
And the whole thing could unravel.
Like that neighbor who remembers seeing Zoe playing outside one afternoon. Like really playing, full of energy.
Yeah.
But then later that day, they see Scarlett's social media post
Right.
talking about Zoe being too weak to even leave her bed.
Subtle inconsistencies, easily dismissed as, you know, parental exaggeration or just a faulty memory, right?
Right.
But taken together,
Yeah.
they start to paint a very, very different picture.
Yeah, it's like those little details, they start to add up.
Exactly.
And then there's Nurse Olivia Chen.
Yeah, right. Her story.
Talk about someone who noticed something was off.
Mhm.
She worked at the hospital with Ryan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she observed this disturbing pattern with Zoe's symptoms.
You know, what's fascinating here is how Nurse Chen's observations, they really highlight the importance of trusting your instincts.
Oh, absolutely.
She sensed something was amiss, even if she couldn't at first put her finger on it.
And what was it that she noticed? I mean, specifically.
Well, she noticed that whenever Ryan was on shift at the hospital,
Yeah.
Zoe's condition would mysteriously worsen.
Oh, come on.
And when he wasn't around, her symptoms would often improve.
Okay, hold on. That's not just a coincidence.
Right.
That's I mean, it's terrifying. What kind of person, let alone a father, would do something like that?
It's a chilling thought, isn't it? And it really forces us to confront this disturbing reality. Sometimes the people we trust the most
Right.
are capable of unimaginable acts.
So where do we go from here? We've got whispers about the Hartleys. Zoe's health is declining, and the community is slowly waking up to the possibility that things are not as they seem. What happens next?
Well, it's like we were saying before,
Mm-hmm.
those cracks in their carefully crafted facade, they become impossible to ignore.
You mean like how the Hartleys, they were slowly isolating Zoe,
Exactly.
fewer play dates, pulling her out of preschool,
Right.
always at the hospital for something.
Yeah.
It's like they were trying to, I don't know, control her world, keep her hidden in plain sight.
It's a classic tactic, actually, in cases of Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Yeah, it's a mental health condition where a caregiver, they fabricate or exaggerate a child's illness for
Wow.
attention, for sympathy.
Okay, Munchausen syndrome by proxy. That sends chills down my spine just hearing it.
Yeah.
But in this case, it wasn't just exaggerating Zoe's illness. They were actively making her sicker, right?
That's the implication. And it's a truly horrifying thought.
Yeah.
And it's in the context of this isolation that we encounter this pivotal piece of the puzzle, a child's artwork.
Oh, you mean the drawing, the one Zoe made in preschool,
The one and only.
one that like sent shockwaves through the entire community.
Exactly. The image itself it's simple, a little girl surrounded by pills.
Right.
But the caption, that's what turned this case on its head. In Zoe's own words, "Mommy's special medicine makes me sick."
Oh God.
It's a stark reminder that children often communicate their truths in ways that we don't expect.
And in this case, Zoe's artwork, it wasn't just a cry for help. It was like a neon sign pointing directly at the truth.
Exactly.
And it breaks my heart to think about what must have been going through her mind as she was drawing that.
It really makes you question, right? How many other silent pleas for help are hidden in plain sight? Misinterpreted, dismissed as, childish imagination.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And that's when Detective Groves enters the picture, right?
That's right.
I imagine that drawing kind of threw a wrench into the Hartleys' carefully constructed narrative.
Absolutely. Faced with this undeniable piece of evidence, the investigation, it shifted from a medical mystery to a potential case of child abuse.
Wow.
And Detective Groves, he was known for his methodical approach, his keen eye for detail. He wasted no time in unraveling the truth.
So where did he even begin? Did he focus on the medical records, the finances, the social media posts?
He pursued all angles, but the financial discrepancies, those jumped out almost immediately.
Okay, what do you mean?
Large withdrawals coinciding with Zoe's hospital stays, exceeding any reasonable medical expense.
Wow, so they were profiting off of this.
It really painted a picture of potential financial motivation intertwined with the abuse.
So not only were they potentially harming their child, but they were making money off of it. That's a whole new level of messed up.
It's a horrifying thought, but sadly not uncommon in cases of medical child abuse.
Wow.
The desire for attention, sympathy, even financial gain, it can drive individuals to commit unspeakable acts.
And what about the medication? What did Detective Groves find out about the prescriptions that Ryan was giving Zoe?
This is where the case takes an even more sinister turn.
Okay.
The reports, they detail unusual combinations of drugs, excessive dosages, essentially a cocktail designed to mimic a multitude of illnesses,
Wow.
yet never quite fitting any one diagnosis.
It's like he was using his medical expertise to intentionally mislead the other doctors, creating this smokescreen of baffling symptoms.
Exactly.
Did anyone at the hospital suspect him?
Well, remember Nurse Chen?
Right.
Her early suspicions about Ryan's behavior, they now carried significant weight. Her detailed notes about the timing of Zoe's worsening condition, in relation to Ryan's shifts, they provided crucial evidence.
It's like he was using his access to hurt her.
It's a picture of calculated manipulation, a betrayal of trust. So profound, it's difficult to even comprehend.
This is where the story just, it takes a truly heartbreaking turn.
Yeah.
Because while the investigation is ramping up,
Right.
poor Zoe, she's still trapped
I know.
in the middle of this nightmare.
In the middle of it all.
The people who are supposed to be protecting her
Yeah.
are the ones causing her harm.
And her only solace, her only moments of respite, it seemed, were when she was away from her abusers.
Oh, God.
It's a stark reminder of the insidious nature of this type of abuse.
Right.
How it permeates every aspect of a child's life.
It's just unimaginable to me. The kind of betrayal that Zoe experienced at the hands of her own parents, you know.
That's true.
The people who should have protected her were the ones causing her harm.
It's a violation of trust on such a fundamental level that it shakes us to our core, you know, and it makes us question everything we think we know about human nature, you know, about the capacity for both good and evil that resides in us all.
So what finally happened? How did this house of cards come crumbling down?
Well, the weight of the evidence, particularly the financial discrepancies and Nurse Chen's meticulous notes, it became impossible to ignore.
Right.
Detective Groves, he brought Ryan in for questioning.
Okay.
And under the pressure of the mounting evidence, Ryan, he cracked.
He confessed?
He did. His confession, it revealed this twisted tale of attention-seeking, a desperate desire for validation, for sympathy that just spiraled into this dangerous game of deception and abuse.
It's always baffling to me how someone can justify harming their own child, especially for something as fleeting as attention or sympathy.
The psychology of these cases is complex, often rooted in these deep-seated emotional needs, and it's rarely about the child. It's about the perpetrator's own kind of distorted sense of reality.
And what about Scarlett? Did she maintain her innocence through all of this?
Right up to the very end. Even when confronted with Ryan's confession and the overwhelming evidence, Scarlett, she stuck to her story. The loving, devoted mother, blindsided by her husband's actions.
So while Ryan's confession provided some answers, Scarlett's silence, it left even more questions unanswered. Like, what was her role in all of this? What motivated her to participate in such a cruel charade?
Those are questions that lingered over the entire community and continue to fuel speculation to this day. But one thing is certain, Zoe's ordeal, it exposed the fragility of truth, the ease with which these carefully constructed facades can just crumble, revealing the darkness that lurks beneath.
It's a sobering reminder, isn't it, that things aren't always as they seem,
right?
Even in seemingly idyllic communities like Millbrook.
And for the medical community, Zoe's case served as this stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, of looking beyond the surface, of the presented symptoms and trusting your instincts when something, it just feels off.
Yeah, that gut feeling.
Exactly.
And Zoe, what happened to her after she was removed from the Hartley's care?
Thankfully, she was placed with a loving foster family who provided her with the stability, the support, the unconditional love that she so desperately needed.
It's amazing what a little bit of love can do, especially for a child who's been through so much.
It's true. It's truly a testament to the strength, the resilience of the human spirit.
Absolutely.
Especially in children who have endured such trauma.
Yeah. Zoe's story, it's a beacon of hope, isn't it?
I think so.
In the face of such darkness. It reminds us that even in the aftermath of unimaginable cruelty, healing and hope are possible.
They are.
This whole case, it's both fascinating and deeply unsettling. You know, it's like staring into a mirror and wondering if we're truly seeing what's reflected back at us.
It's a reminder that we must always remain vigilant, question our assumptions, and be wary of those who present a picture-perfect facade. Because sometimes the most unsettling truths, they're hidden in plain sight, masked by these carefully constructed narratives that we're all too willing to believe.
It's true. It's true. Well, this deep dive into the case of Zoe Hartley is one I won't soon forget. It's a stark reminder that we must always be vigilant, question our assumptions, and remember that truth. Truth can be stranger and often darker than fiction.